And yeah, people are here trying to hold space in this warm inside area because the low tonight is going to be 10 degrees, and people have been getting turned away from homeless shelters due to a capacity. So that's why people are here tonight.
The other Justin there has his own little audience thing already.
Should we go ask him?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I left the office.
Yeah, when Dennis comes back,
This is, do you want your name used? Okay.
Do you want to actually step a little in this little area if you don't mind? Cool, yeah, you can introduce yourself and then say why you're at the rec center right now.
Hi, my name is Justin Desmond. I'm here at the rec center supporting the infalities of obviously the law. Law is broken here in Denver, Colorado. There's lots of history in my background from my brother and my family members of law enforcement. So if anybody who would understand that, it would be me. It's a very interesting thing because those who are out of a home, such as me and many others, believe it or not, a lot of us don't even have a choice. We're waiting for checks, or we're on lists, or we're trying to wait for some type of next step from some type of case manager, or there's some type of broken communication between Social Security and the client that's supposed to be getting a check but hasn't gotten it for the past year. So how fair is this to us? It's not. Anybody that has a problem with homelessness or houselessness, just because we're in a tent, just because we're on the street, you think we want to be here? No. If you give us a job, there'll be no reasons for you to stay.
Attention, the center is now closed. I repeat, the center is now closed. We will reopen at 5:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. Have a good evening.
If you give us a job, there'll be no reason to state. You don't have a job, you bum, get a job. But most of the people that say that, say after you say, well, then give me a job, they look at you and laugh and tell you to get out the store. If you want us to do something with life, aid and assist us to help ourselves. That's all I'm saying.
And do you usually, do you like going into shelters?
So most shelters, even though I'm not in a house, I have family support as much as possible. My mother has sent me tons of money, but broke her bank. She's a working mom. She's a single mom now. So putting that weight on her is unfair, completely, but there's no other choice. But the fact of a shelter, shelters are A1, violent, 2, tons of drugs, actually more than the streets because you just have it contained. 3, the security staff there is not respectful of anybody, including the fact of the necessities that happen with disabled people like myself. I have autism and I have epilepsy. I'm on major medications. Shelters actually don't aid the medications. Some of them don't even allow the medications in the shelter because it's looked at like a controlled substance, something that if there's not the correct naming, or let's say my bottles got wet out in the rain, all of a sudden they take my medications that I desperately need, or else I'm a mess, like a seizurous mess. They'll throw them away because all of a sudden now it got wet. We don't know if it's you. They're controlled substances. They're drugs, which puts me in the hospital, which puts a bigger weight on the hospital. So if we want to continue this process, be my guest. Or if you want to change process, change the outcome by the choices of the public. The shelters are absolute waste and mess. There's trash all over the floors. Sometimes the bathrooms are closed. So where do we go to the bathroom? Some people actually go to the bathroom on the floor because the bathrooms are closed. So now we have waste on the floor. It's correct thinking here. If you want to get people out of this, start walking. Start making it happen. Okay?
And what would you suggest if, like, a city council person asked you what would be helpful to you? What would you say?
I'm going to come at this in a pretty interesting angle. Force the Social Security as a large volume to speed up the process. I've been waiting for a Social Security check since last December. My parents got divorced. They sold their $250,000 home. They sold all 5 cars. Now I'm stuck in a tent, waiting for my Social Security check. I have been in suicidal hospitals. I have tried to overdose on medication numerous times because I have no food sometimes. I'm so depressed and so stuck in a tent that I don't know why I don't want to live. So if I just have my money, hey, maybe I'd actually have housing. Without finances, in this understood we need finances kind of society, but it's crappy society. In this kind of society, realities say we need money. So, hey, why are we all out bumming from people? Now, I'll tell you something. I don't bum from nobody. I don't even ask anybody for money. The only person supporting me is my mother. Once again, not fair to her. Not fair because I didn't choose to be here. My family's divorce put me here. I'm a disabled individual trying to make a life for myself. And all the people have to say is, get a job, you bum. Well, you know what? Then give me a job. And I'll take it, and I'll do really well with it. I'm a northern boy, I'm a farm boy, I work hard. How about you give me one and make it happen? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for speaking.
You're welcome.
So we are still at the Carla Madison Denver Recreation Center, where people are holding space. This center is open during the day to keep people warm during the day. However, at 9 p.m. when the center closes is when the people who come here to stay warm during the day are forced to leave. And so there's a bunch of people here who are unhoused or advocates of unhoused people holding the space and trying to stay here as long as possible. Hi, Candy. I was wondering if you would want to do a quick interview. I'm live right now, by the way.
Go for it.
Yeah, if you don't mind introducing yourself and then saying why you're here.
My name is Candy Sedavaca. I'm the Denver City Councilwoman for District 9, which encompasses Denver's downtown area, which is one of our highest concentrations of people who are living unhoused, rough on the street. And I'm here tonight at a rec center in our district, which is one of the most resourced rec centers in our city, to be in solidarity with my community that is unhoused, as they ask for or demand alternatives to shelters that are warming centers in our public spaces like rec centers on nights like tonight, where it is below freezing, where people are on the streets dying, losing limbs. We've asked several times for support and to open up our rec centers as warming centers, and have not had positive reception there with our mayor. And so we want to make sure that the issue gets the attention that it deserves, and we want our community to know that we're here in solidarity, and we do believe that they deserve these spaces. They are public spaces.
And is it true that the city has a contract with Bayard to make pop-up shelters, but they haven't used those, like haven't used that as a resource?
I'm not aware of pop-up shelters, but I do know we contract with Bayard for other things, like the showers, like the laundry, and Bayard is an excellent organization. I'm not sure what the slowdown would be if there are those pop-up centers, but these are public spaces, and there's no reason we shouldn't be using them this way.
And what would your response be, if like police come tonight and like force people out?
I think that the biggest question I want answered is, where do these people go? And if our cops are going to come, and we do have the resources we are claiming to have, and we do have the vouchers that we're claiming to have, I want to see all of these individuals who have nowhere else to go get a voucher for a hotel tonight.
Is there anything else you wanted to add?
And I think just generally, I want to, along with the rest of people in the city, I want to see more accountability from our administration for all of the dollars that are going towards homelessness. I want to see meaningful solutions that are actually getting people into permanent housing and keeping people from dying on the streets on nights like tonight.
Thank you for speaking.
Now you tell me where this is going to go.
I'm with you. I'm not allowed to be filmed by any of
You're not allowed to be filmed?
Cut the lights off. We like it on.
Is after a certain amount of time it turns into trespassing. You don't have to That's just what I believe, what my understanding is. And I just want to be as transparent with you guys as possible. I love what you're doing. I support it. It's just that it's like
We're just advocating for those who need a warm place to go.
I love it, and I wish we could staff it to accommodate
But
everyone.
the city does have the money
Yeah,
to staff
they
it.
have the money to
They
staff
have
it.
a contract with Riot Enterprises, right?
But I have no idea.
Okay,
Yeah,
but your
call
supervisor,
your
I think,
supervisor,
does.
they'll know that.
Yeah. We can talk, because we've been asking for this all winter. Yeah, we're tired.
Unhoused, they're tired. And frostbitten.
We don't want to send them out again. There's no place to
Not
go.
tonight.
I'm with you. I don't want to ask you. I didn't want to ask you guys. I didn't want to say that we were closing.
Put it off to somebody else. Yeah. Check on somebody else. Yeah.
What's your supervisor's name?
Ben has.
Okay.
Mine Ben is gone.
Oh, okay. Did someone call Ben?
I'm going to call him now.
Okay,
We
cool.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Let us know.
Show me the heart to put it down.
Did he first say that you had to leave, or what did he say when he first came up?
We had to leave. So we gave him a sheet of our press release and our demands.
Yeah, they said they may have to call a DPD because we would be trespassing. So they explained where the Unhoused had no other place to go, and we didn't
There's
want to
no other
send them
place
out
for
to
the
cold.
Unhoused to go tonight. The shelters are full.
Yep.
Again, tonight, as of last night, they were
Yep.
about this time. So no, I'm not sending these folks back out in the cold.
So we'll stand our ground.
So, as you heard, I believe his name is Ben Escalante. He might be the manager here. I'll have to verify that. He was just speaking to two of the organizers, and he said he loves what they're doing here, but that if people don't leave soon, that would be trespassing, and then he would have to call Denver Police Department. The organizers asked that he call his higher up to see if there could be more conversation and not just leave it as we're going to call DPD. The organizer said they've been trying to have these conversations for months, like all winter, and the higher up, his name is also Ben. I didn't catch his last name, I apologize. That he is also, that he hasn't been having open conversations with them. So again, this is still Denver, Colorado at a Denver Recreation Center. People are here holding space in this center because tonight's low temperature is 10 degrees and the shelters are full already, as one of the organizers just said. So, and that includes, all like winter shelters. So, yeah, people are trying to maintain the space past 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock is when the day warming shelter here is closed. So folks are trying to keep it open for as long as possible. It's only about 15 minutes past 9 right now.
Rocks, boulders, the whole 9 yards.
What do you want to be interviewed?
I'll do an interview with you.
Yeah.
You want to ask a question? You want to ask a tough question?
Yeah.
And the right question, right?
Both.
Okay. All right. I'll talk to you. You take care.
Yeah. Maybe over here so it's less loud.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, if you don't mind introducing yourself and then saying why you're here right now at the rec center.
My name is Jerry Burton. I used to be with Denver Homeless Allowed. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I'm here in support of my unhoused neighbors. I'm not sure you remember me. I was the one that did Jerryville, the mayor of Jerryville. I'm here to support my people because on a night like tonight, it is very cold outside. And you are closing the warming center that you have already advocated money to pay I think until the end of the year, to Bayard Industries to run it. And why they're not here running it? You cannot have a day center and the rec center open at the same time and talk about they getting paid. That don't work that way. I can understand, yes, it was cold, but you can come inside the rec center anytime that you want. It's free. But at the same time, at nighttime, you're gonna close it down at 9 o'clock, right as when the weather, the temperature started to drop. And right now, it was like, 12 degrees right now. So you know it's gonna drop more because this is not even at the beginning of the morning. of the next day, which would probably be about 6 degrees below, if you know. But that's still cold. Anything else you want to ask me? I want to know where the money is going.
Yeah, how did you get off the streets? Because obviously it's a long process for a lot of people.
Well, my process was a little bit different than the average citizen. Mine came through HUD VAST, to the VA, whereas I had a voucher when I came out here. I came out here to advocate, to bring attention to it, but evidently it must have not helped that well because they still doing the same thing. Sweep 3 times a week, nowhere to go, and they don't come out here with a solution to give them a place to go, a hotel voucher, or they continue to want to go to a shelter. They went to the shelter last night. There was no room at the end. There was no room at the end. It's just like December 25th, when y'all celebrate Christmas, before Christ was born, there was no room at the end. Where are they supposed to go on a night like tonight? Especially those that has been kicked out of their shelter, because of whatever reason may be. And what about those that do not want to give up early in the morning to come outside and be freezing once again? It's the same problem, just a different year. And our city administrators have not done anything to alleviate it, except for give more and more money to the providers to provide what? Homelessness? That's what I see. I don't know what you see, but that's what I see. Who is getting paid? Who is taking cutback? You know? And then to find out that Mayor Hancock, I think host, have a position, had a position open that nobody seemed to know about. I found out because they wrote it up in I think the Devil Riot, one magazine out here, and it was for an executive position that's supposed to be picked by the mayor on coming in and helping out with the tent encampment. Now, what better person that would be able to do that is the person who ran Jerryville. But they keep pushing me out of the loop. They don't ask me anything. They know where I live. They know how to get in contact with me, but they don't ask me anything. Why? Because they do not want to end homelessness. That is what they are telling you. And for those of you who has apartment complex, if I were taking over, I'll come and talk to you. I'll talk to you about my plan to end homelessness and to get people into housing and not prolong them out here on the street to where they can continue to freeze it there. The provider continue to make money off of it. That's wrong. That's wrong. And the homeless population keeps going up here in the city and county of Denver. For what reason? Why? When you just gave $18 million to 3 providers, but no one, everybody is always talking about there is it's a complex situation. What's so complex about being unhoused? I have no house. What's so complex about I'm homeless? I have no home. Oh, wow. Wow. The answer is within what we call it. Think about it. Thank you. Let's go.
Yeah, thanks.
I was getting thirsty.
So that was Jerry Burton. He's been an advocate for unhoused people for a long time. He was unhoused for a long time himself. He is a veteran and was on the streets. And yeah, he was arrested a bunch of times when there were sweeps. And as he mentioned, there have been 3 sweeps a week for months now. So that's when I'm just gonna walk down the hallway of the rec center. A sweep is when the city, with their contracted private company, Environmental Hazmat Services, approaches encampments where people live outside in tents and other structures, and they force them to pack up all their belongings and move with no clear destination. They just want them to move from that location. And so sweeps like that happen at encampments 3 times a week in Denver. There are a lot of unhoused people here in the city. As stated previously, all the shelters are full tonight, and there are still people who have nowhere to go, which is why this action is happening here. People are going to be trying to stay here as long as possible. There's a chance the Denver Police Department could arrive. It is unclear what's going to be happening. And the sweeps are incredibly expensive. We've done in-depth reports about the sweeps where the city spends thousands of dollars at each sweep, which amounts to close to $1 million a year. So yeah, the sweeps are very expensive, and they effectively just move people around the city. Yeah, so this is, I believe, the newest rec center. It's very fancy, as you can see the pool down there. There's locker rooms, there's a gym, there's like a workout area and a weightlifting area and classrooms and all sorts of things. There's a lot of space in this place. One of the managers who spoke earlier is now talking to one of the organizers again.
Yeah, he said that he's been instructed to call DPD by his supervisors, so they'll be on their way. Yep. That's it.
Could you just briefly describe, like, obviously you're here because it's cold outside and you believe there should be space for people to be warm.
Right.
But can you go a little bit more in depth? Like the fact of like all these sweeps happening and people who might have been able to be warm outside now don't have those resources.
Right. Yeah, people's resources are continually being stolen from them by the city and traumatized by the city over and over and over again. I know folks that are here in this room who almost every week are losing the stuff that's keeping them alive, right? That's helping them survive. And so, yeah, they're have less resources because of that. And then the city won't even open a warming center to keep them alive on a very cold night. So that's hard to swallow. So houseless advocates are going to stand by our neighbors and be with them and make sure that they're safe.
Cool.
Thank you.
Okay, and then quickly to show this area too, this is like another type of swimming pool with slides. Seems more for children. So yeah, this is a very nice new rec center. And yeah, so if you didn't fully hear, the manager was instructed by his supervisor to call the Denver Police Department. So that is happening now. Again, this is Denver, Colorado, the Carla Madison Recreation Center.
Come on here.
Yep, so as we wait here, basically for the police to come, there are about, I'd say like maybe 25 people here. Some are without housing, some are advocates. So people are, I guess, kind of preparing for what's about to happen. Yeah, again, this is a group of people who are here to try to show that unhoused people deserve a warm place to be if they need it, if they want it. And right now, all of the shelters in Denver are full, so there's nowhere for people to go if they want to stay inside. Yet there are recreation centers like this one that are massive, that can hold people in them, that have the space. And something the manager was saying was that they don't have the money to staff, or it's a staffing problem, but something the organizers brought up was that it's not a staffing problem because the city has the money. They're just choosing not to spend it on something like this. That's exactly what I think. Yeah. Everyone else who would be on? Okay. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Right. And it's supported during it's supported in hotels. Make sure you
Really, I haven't said anything.
but I don't blame folks.
I've had an ulcer. I've had an ulcer. The thing goes up like a balloon.
Oh, I never questioned it.
And it's got me.
I think you should go get that checked.
All right, we're gonna interview someone here in a second.
Well, really ruptures. That is good.
How long have you had it?
Guess what? Ruptures? It's, yeah, you can't even sit in the hospital. Because you're in surgery.
How long have you had it?
In the past day or two.
What do you think?
Oh, I have no idea.
Can't really bend over. Bad.
Isn't there anything they can do? They can operate on it.
Yes, that's also another one of the biggest things too. Is both of the things that they came up with scientifically to fix them. There's $1 billion lawsuits against them.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Yeah, I had some friends who
The only reason I even slightly know about the hernia is because of the there's like layers of skin, and they'll tear a little bit, and it'll make a little hole in those layers, and then other stuff gets pushed through those little holes. That's why they put the mesh there. Seal it up. Yeah, not so much. I guess I just haven't been able to come to the conclusion that I've been able to even really think or talk very well. That's what I can learn.
Are you up for being interviewed? If not, it's okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, if you don't mind introducing yourself, and then you can say why you're at the rec center right now.
Okay. I have to be careful. Sometimes I have no filter.
Say what feels comfortable for you.
Well, no, because I'm also being a voice. So I need to, well, I'm still not fully aware of, like, the background behind, like, why this is so important.
to have warming centers open all night because it's freezing out there. That's all. We need to have warming centers open all night.
Okay.
That's it.
And so differences between like shelters,
Shelters
motel
are full right
rooms.
now. Yeah, and the city is not giving us any vouchers of the unhoused vouchers.
Really?
And the shelters are full once again tonight.
Wow.
You had to go to Aurora
Yes,
to get
I did.
in.
I did, yeah.
You gotta, yeah, talk about that.
And check this out. Hi, my name is Dennis Walmsley, and I'm here at the Denver Rec Center to see if we can do something about the fact that they're closing the place when there needs to be a 24-hour access to a lot of different facilities, resources, especially the area that we're in right now is actually called the Warming Center, and it is specifically meant for humans to warm their bodies up when it's really cold. And we're actually about to be forced to leave by the police department. Anyways, there's a lot of reasons that things need to be changed. I actually had to go all the way to Aurora to go to an overflow shelter last night because it was so cold.
Did they send a bus, or how did that work?
Nope, I actually had to take the bus, and I didn't have 2 bus passes, I only had 1. So I got there okay last night, and plus it was so cold that the bus drivers didn't really say anything at all. But when my buddy and I tried to return this morning, 3 different buses wouldn't let me on. I have a wagon. It's not a shopping cart or anything. And it's not a metal wagon, it's like a fabric wagon. And all of a sudden, they're telling me there's this new policy that no wagons are allowed on the bus. And I said, well, how do you think I got here? I certainly didn't walk, you know.
out of the streets.
And of course, my intelligent mind said, well, he doesn't even know where you're from.
That's how common that story is. Yeah.
It's just a reaction, but that's my point, though. You know, I mean, it's just ridiculous. Everything is just being so controlled in undue areas, undue reasons.
Do you like staying in shelters?
Absolutely not. Nope. Shelters, I don't know if they were originally geared for them, or that it's just, kind of manipulated itself into this area, but 95% of the people that go to the homeless shelters, or cold weather shelters, whatever you want to call them, are, for lack of better words, they're alcoholics. People outside of that terms, like other homeless people, we call them drunks. They're all drunks. And they're violent, argumentative, rude, disgusting people. And that's one of the biggest reasons that people don't go to those shelters. I would absolutely rather deal with the cold than have to deal with these people. Absolutely. It's been that way in every single one that I've went to, too.
Really?
Another personal issue is I've always been a night owl, and of course they're set up pretty much from sundown to sun up. Is when you can be there. And for someone that's used to being a night owl or a second or third shifter, trying to lay down and go to bed at 10 o'clock at night, and then being woken up at 5:30 in the morning and asked to leave the facility, it doesn't work for me. That's just a personal thing.
What would help you the most as someone who lives outside?
It lives outside?
Yeah. Like, what could the city do other than like the shelters that you would think would be helpful?
Not bullying people. That's a really big one. And there are very few, actually, I have to point this out, there are very few officers that do bully. Most of them actually they come right out and say, hey man, I don't want to mess with you. I know that you have a hard enough time as it is. But it's those very few that do it, in any walk of life, in any specialty area, people excel in certain things. And of course, any of those people that are more like bullies, that seem to have a bigger effect on people, well, they're naturally going to be reassigned to do those type of things because they get the biggest reaction. As far as things that the city could do, yes, if we can't pay our rent, then definitely don't take away our tents and our stuff, because we can't get out of your way fast enough. And out of your way, I mean, they call us encumbrances. There are a lot of homeless that are in the wrong 100%. Blocking the sidewalk is a horrible thing. I absolutely detest it. I can't stand it. Blocking the sidewalk is a horrible thing. There's many times where I've been nowhere near blocking the sidewalk, and I've still been treated like someone that was, 4 summers ago, a Denver police officer and myself watched this pregnant woman, and she was very pregnant, probably 8-9 months. Look at all the people on the sidewalk.
Someone wants to say hi, apparently.
Oh, look at this.
And what is your name, darling? Tasha? Is this Tasha?
Yes.
Hello, Tasha. Hi. That's a very good sign. That makes me happy. I've been able to talk to animals since I was a child.
She's 11.
It's awesome.
She's 11.
So, the bullying, taking our tents. When there's a woman over there, a couple of these people have these shirts on that say, if we can't afford the rent, then don't take our tents. That's the amount of money that is wasted for these campaigns that they do is ridiculous. The biggest problems are that we need spaces. We need spaces where we can be. We need restroom facilities. Nothing's ever going to change in the fact that there are always going to be, once again, lack of better words, hooligans, vandals, uncontrollable people. It's always going to wind up being, their restrooms, they're going to be dirty. Period. Unfortunately, those few bad eggs always cause these people to say, see, that's just disgusting. Can't believe it's even happening. It's the homeless period, and let's do away with this. Guess what? I guarantee you, if we put some hidden cameras, in the right areas, you'd find that the people that are doing disgusting things like that are housed people that can't handle, we're homeless. We have no problem taking some toilet paper. We always have hand sanitizer. We have no problems cleaning it up a little bit before we use it. It's people that are housed that are forced to go into there, that stand up and go to the bathroom and make a mess all over the place. Why? Because they're never going to have to go back in there again either. And that's how they see it. And they have no idea that, anyone homeless would even be intelligent enough to think of something like that. It wasn't any thought, it was the fact that I saw someone do it. And they went and got into their brand new Jaguar and drove away.
How many times have you been swept?
Wow.
Yes, dear.
How many times have I been swept?
Oh, let me see. This month or what? Oh, did you? You've never counted him, right? Well, he's in that.
One time.
What?
One time there were 14 police officers for who?
For you. Oh yeah. He was the only one left at the camp. And 14 police officers came and they put all the fencing up and they're waiting for him. It's like crazy. And then they took your chair, remember? Yeah. Yep. They trashed your chair.
It was only you and they built a fence around you?
Right.
Around the whole area.
Right, yeah, around the whole area.
But it was only you.
It was, the only one there.
Now see, we should be specific about that. If they would have built a fence just around me, it would have only taken like 3 or 4 sections. Yeah. And it wouldn't have taken the workers very long. It took about $10,000 worth to put up the fencing around for a block and a half. Yeah, it's crazy. But in the encumbrance, message to the mayor, part 2, encumbrance, if you see somebody jump out of their tent because they are like taking everything from around the tent, that's Dennis getting out. He always loses all his stuff. They come and trash all his stuff. Dennis likes to sleep in a little bit. I've still never even seen this video.
Oh, I know. I have to show it.
It's what? Message to the mayor?
Part 2.
Part 2, encumbrance?
Yeah.
I was just explaining about that we're encumbrances. We're blocking the sidewalk or whatever. And I explained to her that, I didn't get through with that story. A Denver police officer and myself watched as this pregnant woman looked down the sidewalk. This is on 11th by Floyd's Barber, Broadway, 11th Broadway. Right behind Floyd's, there's a little Mexican restaurant, in the alley, and then there's a duplex. Well, I stayed on the front porch of this duplex for like 6 months. Nobody lived there. It was awesome, right? Well, this officer came because there were probably 50 people. On the next little business was a closed down bar from the duplex to the corner of Lincoln, right? There were probably 50 people on this sidewalk, and it wasn't a real wide one. They had it completely blocked, building bicycles, doing all kinds of stupid stuff, right?
Yeah.
And we watched this woman walk out into the street, and she was 8-9 months pregnant.
Oh no.
And there was traffic. It wasn't like a non-busy. It was at 11th Avenue. There were cars, you know? And we both watched her walk out into traffic and have to walk down the street. And he went to say something, and I stopped the officer, and I went, listen, assholes, you need to get the hell up right now. You see that pregnant woman right there? Just walked out into traffic because you jerks don't pay attention to anything at all. And the officer actually was like, thank you. What? Horrible. Back to things that we would need, you know. Find us places where, you know, we're a little more acceptable, you know. Stop taking our things. You know? We definitely need restroom facilities, period.
I didn't hear that. We won't share that.
And it is to that point that, as far as the restrooms are concerned, no matter what, they're always going to get filthy. It doesn't matter whether it's just homeless or not. I was just explaining to you too, I've seen more housed people with nice cars go into porta potties and do disgusting things because they don't like using them. We're homeless. We have no problem cleaning it up and using it.
Yeah. You know, it wouldn't be such a mess if there was trash pickup. That's all. You know, just come by, you know, once, twice a week and pick up the trash, and you know, it would be so much nicer. Yeah. Yeah. Clean out their. Give a porta potty, clean it up, you know, that's all.
Provide us with places that aren't right in somebody's, you know, view of their front windows, you know, or whatever. Which there are plenty of places where there are empty businesses, parking lots, vacant buildings, you know, and I'm not talking about use of those. I'm talking about just being able to be on those sidewalks where nobody's going to see us every time they walk in and out of their house.
Dennis is from Denver.
Born and raised.
Born and raised.
My grandmother was a federal marshal in the Civic Center building, which is the courthouse directly across from the Capitol.
Yeah.
She was a federal marshal in that building for 50 years.
There are quite a few Denver homies, right? There are quite a few Denver residents that were born and raised here.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, what's his face? It was just his birthday last couple weeks ago. What was his name? He was out by you in the corner there 2 weeks ago. I can't remember his name. Young guy, very young guy. I think he was like 28.
Nick?
Oh, cool. Oh, cool.
No, it couldn't have been Nick. It's a what? It's a what?
No, it's warm here.
What is it?
10 blankets. Everybody, all the unhoused can take a blanket home.
Yeah, the responsible thing to do would be to do it right as they're leaving.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to like
You know.
I just didn't want to be like burning. Yeah.
There's a trick to those. You turn it over where the seam is.
Yeah.
Yep. Where it's joined. You flip it over and peel it.
Peel that. It comes apart really easy.
Yep.
Sometimes you have to use a knife.
The trick is it won't pop from the outside. If you flip it over, it's the one on the
And
inside.
it won't cut the inside. It won't cut the thing that's on the inside.
It's how they bundle newspapers. So literally, yeah, you just have to grab it, flip it over, and the inside will.
Oh yeah, we got these from at comics. They gave them to us for free.
Nice.
Yeah.
That guy.
There you go.
That guy used to distro food all the time.
He said he couldn't anymore, so all the
So
stuff he's been
cool.
collecting, he's giving to us.
Nice.
Yeah.
Him and I used to talk.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
He really is.
Yeah. I forget his name.
Chuck.
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 Yes. Yep.
Oh, we have towels too.
Went from just a couple of comic books to literally his first real deal. He made $1 million. One comic.
So some people have brought resources like pizza and blankets and
Who brought those?
I don't know. No, I'm just saying.
Oh.
saying.
You said, I thought you said Home Depot brought those.
Oh no. And yeah, people are coming and bringing resources for the people who are here.
Wow. That
Wow.
is frightening.
Thank you. What? What? What?
And then picture of this little fun with a couple of them. That's almost exactly what
That's my sister.
It's a hotel that's like COVID time. Honestly, like she's hemorrhaging money.
Who brought the pizza?
But it is like
What's it?
Is it sexy?
Can I just ask one more question?
What?
Sorry, I get distracted.
No, it's okay. Since you've lived in Denver your whole life, like, what are some of the biggest changes you've seen?
Well, not my whole life. I was gone for about 15 years, moved to the East Coast. But I've seen a lot of monumental changes, especially just the generation that I'm from. I was born in 1969. So I got to see the 70s, the 80s, the 90s.
You're not that old.
I can remember one of the biggest things that changed Denver was in the late 80s when in like a 6-month period 25,000 gang members from California moved to Aurora. That changed the whole.
You want some pizza?
I'm good.
Okay.
We had some lasagna.
Oh, okay.
That changed everything
My stomach's kind of messed up too.
permanently. Mine was at McDonald's. Sorry. Okay. I keep getting a little sidetracked. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I guess I'm wondering, like, do you think there's always been as many unhoused people now as there were like 10 years ago, or like, do you think that has changed?
I think that it's gotten way worse. Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Have you looked at the statistics at all?
It's worse, but I think I know why. The housing.
Like how many more,
so much more expensive.
percentages and stuff in like, 10, 20 years ago?
I know it gets worse every year. I don't know the stats.
Oh yes, yes. The legalization of marijuana. Okay, had they done that in 5 different states at once, it would have changed everything. But because they only did it in Colorado at first, immediately we saw rents go from $700 to $3,000 in months.
Yeah.
And that was because of the influx of people that moved here because marijuana was legal. I had forgotten all about that. I mean, that was a major change.
All that money used to be on the streets.
Do you mind if I film you?
Yeah, all that money used to be on the streets. So when we legalized weed, we inadvertently took all that money off of the streets and off of the lower class. And that's a lot of money. Yeah, a lot of money. Like, yeah, none of us saw that. I wouldn't have legalized it if I would have actually thought about that. You know, I would have kept it where it was. But none of us were even thinking about that when we were legalizing it. That we were like taking all that money off of the streets. And now they're commercializing the whole weed industry. They're commercializing it, ruining it like everything else. Nobody wants to go buy weed from a corporate marijuana dealer, you know?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I mean, that's definitely been one of the biggest reasons for a lot of that is it also used to be a lot easier to actually get a place. You know, you could
You have to have perfect credit.
you could put a decent deposit down
No eviction.
and pay your first month's rent and move in. But now you have to have first and last month's rent, a healthy deposit. So it went from, $1,000 to move in to anywhere between $3,000 and $6,000 now to get even just a little studio.
It's like $50 for an application. You just put in an application.
Yeah, yep, that's right. Application fees, background checks, all of these things that are just unbelievable.
In the morning. Okay, yeah. Yeah, either way.
We're going to stay all night, right?
I don't know if I'll be able to, but yeah, that's okay, that'd be cool.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Yeah,
The hoodie?
I had an option for transgender too, but it sounded weird as a noun, I thought, so I went with it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for making me think about Angie.
Oh.
So are the police here, just outside, or
I
don't
have
know?
no idea. Are the police outside?
They're all over the place.
Really?
Yeah,
Is this why?
they're all parked in like weird places.
Oh, really?
Unmarked cars.
Unmarked cars.
See, what I tell you? I told you that they would totally...
Who's the staff person in charge here? Is getting
Oh my
to work.
Lord. That's great.
He says the police are parked all over around here.
Yeah, there's two down there. One down.
Nick, did you see his sweatshirt?
What are they planning? No, in unmarked cars.
Cops need LSD.
I wonder what they're planning.
Hey, Dennis.
They can't arrest
My husband said, now I know who Dennis is. He's watching the live stream.
Really?
Yeah.
Excellent.
You're famous now. I've talked to him about you, so. Oh, Dennis.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
That's great, though. Really is.
Oh, I haven't been to your house to clean out your shed, and I keep feeling bad about it.
I think that's a prerequisite for stepping outside of any major, shrouded life. Anytime that I think that someone is ready to start doing things like this, you should be required to understand, be schooled through it, and taken on an LSD trip.
I think we're going to stay here.
Psychedelics and opening of your mind. Absolutely amazing.
Give them another building
And
next Monday.
must be too, because it was the second thing that was decriminalized in Colorado.
Elon Musk microdoses.
Yeah, we'll give him another bill.
For real, Elon Musk.
I've been getting in there, but it's a bunch of people sign up now. You know, she changed that rule.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Microdose for him. It's 5 minutes.
She is not been able to hide it.
Whoa.
There's nobody doubted. There's another reason.
I was like, she yelled at me again this week. She was like, listen, I'm not talking to you or any of the city council.
Yeah,
I'm here to talk
that's
to
crazy.
you.
I might go check outside to see if I can see any of the unmarked cop cars.
There's one like right next to the building in black, and then down the road it's like maybe like a quarter mile, and then like a quarter mile. I don't know about any further down there.
Okay.
Here's something that I can add that's very monumental. As with every other walk of life too, I constantly see the same
apartment building right on
circles and spirals
there's 4 or 5 of them on the strip on Park and
of ridiculousness in this as well. My mother got in touch with me since I was homeless. She got a message to me that there was this big thing about homeless people on 9 News that night. And so I go to watch it, and I think I've got in my mind that, cool, a big thing about the homeless, maybe there will be some good narrative, some conversation and whatnot, and absolutely not. They ran up from underneath of this bridge on this encampment unannounced, and the people that they run up on, it was like they interviewed them beforehand to find out the biggest jerks that they could find, because the guy immediately ran out and started cursing all this foul language and throwing rocks at the cameras, saying, "Get those cameras out of here. You have no right to do this." Unfortunately, guess what? The second that you step out of your private dwelling, and a private dwelling is someplace that you have a key to, okay? The second that you step out of your private dwelling, you're in the public. And in the public, there is no privacy. Get it. The Supreme Court has ruled. It's a fact. Stop trying to say that people are infringing on your privacy because you are homeless. You're outside. Get a grip.
But don't you think, if someone's in their tent, don't you think they should be able to have some privacy?
Well, yeah, if somebody's inside their tent, nobody can just come up and, open your tent. You have to be addressed just like that,
75 folks here.
You were talking about sweeps earlier. She has saved my life 2 out of 3 times because they have come up, shook my tent, not woke me up, and then bobcatted me.
What?
3 times it's happened, but twice she actually saved my life by stopping the bobcat from picking up my tent with me in it. The bobcat's a little tractor thing.
Yeah. With the crushing claw.
Yeah, it's going to happen though someday where it's they just don't pay attention. They'll come and they'll check out the tents. They don't think anybody's in there. They'll put an X on it or they'll cut it or something and say, "Oh yeah, it's got to be trashed." And then they'll come back in a little bit with their bobcat running and it's loud, and they'll just come right up and they just start to scoop it up. And it happened somewhere else.
Somebody told me that it has happened and that it was covered over right here. It's one of the big ones that happened a couple of years ago.
I don't think so.
Over by the Jesus Saves or whatever.
Ooh. I think I heard that rumor too. I don't know. I hope not.
One of the tents had a couple people in it, and it went into the hopper. And
oh my God.
But so you've been in your tent 3 times.
And they actually went to pick me up. Yeah.
What was their reaction when they found out you were in there?
They're usually upset that I'm in their way.
Do they say sorry?
No. Once again, the biggest solutions would be to, find us places to be that we're not in the direct eye of the, neighbors, the residents. Give us some trash and, restroom facilities. The amount of money that is spent on destroying and bullying, and these cleanups, it wouldn't be, I guarantee it, 10% to actually provide all the things that we would need would still never even amount to like 10% of what they spend on cleaning and sweeping everything up.
Yeah, I remember that. All right, I'm gonna go check outside, but I'll be back. Thank you so much for talking. Yeah. I like that. I know. 30 minutes later, I'm just kidding.
What? Oh, you're running now, but it's skiing house.
What? No, I'm not leaving. I'm just going outside. Alright, so out here there's a bunch of people with signs. Right outside the rec center. I'm just trying to see where the unmarked police car is to see if, because I heard it was over here, just to see if there is a cop presence yet. Unclear, but yeah, this rec center is at this big intersection of Colfax and Josephine in downtown Denver. There's about 15 or so people out here, and then about like 20 people inside. Can I film you and your sign?
Yeah, you can. We don't have any good chants going though, is unfortunate.
Oh, it's okay. It says, Denver, stop making people freeze. Is there anything you would want to say about like why you're here?
Just because it's going to be so cold tonight, and it's just kind of impossible to even imagine having to sleep outside tonight. And there's not going to be space in the shelters, or people aren't able to go in for various reasons or aren't comfortable going in. Like, they should be able to get shelter how they want, when they need it, when they want it, and that's really what we're here for, to support them.
Cool, thank you.
Schools have a monopoly on education in our society, and that's really bad. And that we should abolish mandatory schooling against white supremacists.
Sounds.
Yeah, and instead they're like, we should have a way for people to anonymously submit their interests and then be paired up with people who have shared.
These signs stress the need for 24-hour warming centers and showcase how this rec center closes at 9, and that's when people had to leave. There's some people from the National Lawyers Guild here as well, being legal observers. Yeah, so this is a pretty busy street. Colfax is one of the main streets in Denver. Here's the outside of the building. The sign says Denver tortures its poor. inside. So, yeah, people have been here since, some people got here at 8:30, and it's a little past 10, so people have been here for almost 2 hours. The majority of people got here around, 8:30. But some people got here at 9 as well. You can watch the stream on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. We're live on all those platforms, so make sure to follow us also. We have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have Instagram, we have Vimeo, YouTube, and Twitch, and we're live on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube right now. Also, make sure to go to our website, unicornriot.ninja, to learn more about what we cover. You can learn more about our organization as well, and if you appreciate our work, such as this stream right now, you can donate some money, or at least share our work and share this stream to help spread the stories that we highlight. Again, this is Denver, Colorado, at the Carla Madison Recreation Center, where people are gathering to try to hold space as long as possible, since this warming area inside the rec center was only supposed to be open until 9, but it's going to be a low of 10 degrees tonight, so advocates and unhoused people decided to try to stay here as long as possible and hold the space. The manager of the rec center called Denver Police Department, but they have yet to enter the building. I tried to go outside and see if I could see any police cars, but I couldn't decipher if any of the cars were undercover or not, so. So we're gonna go down for a little bit and come back soon. So stick around. and make sure to check back in the next 20 or so minutes. Most people are just chatting and hanging out with each other, so there's not too much going on right now, but people are still occupying the space, still taking the space here at the Carla Madison Rec Center in Denver, Colorado. The rec center was supposed to close at 9 p.m. and it is 10:15 right now. So yeah, the cops are supposed to be on their way. They might be staging, but we're gonna go down temporarily and come back up. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Alex with Unicorn Riot in Denver, Colorado. Make sure to check our website, unicornriot.ninja, and follow us on all of our social media platforms. If you appreciate our work, you can make sure to share our work and follow us everywhere. And if you're able, we really appreciate any money donations that you can give. But yeah, thank you so much. Stay tuned. We'll hopefully be live again shortly.